Houston integrity for docking cam.
Go ahead.
Is it okay with you if we keep the docking cam on the docking hatch window for today, at least for the morning?
Yep, that should be fine. Thanks, Christina.
After waking up at 11:05 a.m. Central Time today and entering their post-sleep period, the crew has just completed their DPC, their Daily Planning Conference. The Daily Planning Conference started with Canadian Space Agency astronaut receiving his gold astronaut pin. This is the first flight for Hansen, and therefore his pin, which is received upon graduating from astronaut candidate training, that is a silver pin that is given. When you become an astronaut and have flown into space, you receive a gold pin. In honor of the Easter holiday, the crew admitted they also hid some scrambled eggs around the cabin as prepared by the food lab here at Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas, and offered some thoughtful words on the holiday as well as Victor Glover's father's birthday. Teams on the ground, especially Capcom Jenny Gibbons, provided some information about today's Ox suit demo and some changes to the procedures that they currently have. We confirmed that they will be opening their microphones and we will be able to hear throughout that Ox suit demo, as well as hopefully continue to receive good views inside the cabin.
Houston integrity for an undergarment reminder.
Go ahead.
Hey, James, remind us, these are our entry undergarments, but we do have an additional mag on top of the one we will wear today. Is that correct?
Affirm.
integrity, AGA readings when ready.
Ready.
Good morning, Jenny. You have a CO2 2.6, O2 20.7. PS, cabin pressure is 13.9 PSI. Temperature 74.4.
Sounds great. Thanks, Victor.
Houston integrity for Nat Geo 360 camera question.
Go.
Jeremy's our expert on this, and he's unavailable at the moment. We have a little red box in the lower left corner of the display with a white X in it. Any idea what that means? And that's on the 360, the GoPro Max 360.
Checking. Integrity Houston for Nat Geo 360 camera question.
Go.
Yeah, Reed, we don't have the answer yet, but we recommend trying a power cycle. I see also your SME is back in the cabin, so if he can help, we're open to his suggestions too.
All other indications are good. I think we're good. We're going to press it. It is recording, and the red light is blinking. Time is counting, and it's in time-lapse mode, so I think it is looking good.
Sounds good to us. Thank you.
Houston, integrity for GoPro Max.
Go ahead.
For your awareness, our SME did figure it out. The battery was not fully seated. It was running off of power, so it was fine, but if for future reference, that's what that symbol means.
Nice. Thanks for letting us know. Integrity Houston for snack fill for Reed. I'll take a thumbs up if you're ready to listen.
Jenny, go ahead for snack.
Hey Reed, today you're going to be completing 2 nutrition snack fills, one after another during this DFTO. We have some notes that you can also fill some hydration snacks, but those are just for crew comfort, both if you get thirsty and if Christina or Victor need a drink while they're consuming some pills from the pill tool. So we wanted to offer it up that you can fill those hydration snacks before you are in your suit. If you want to do it as a get-ahead, if you want to do it later on, that's fine with us too.
So I can do 4 hydration snacks now, and then the regular snacks during the DFTO.
Affirm, we want to make sure the nutrition snacks are during the DFTO. Otherwise, up to you.
And Jenny, can you remind me what the snack water fill time is at this cabin pressure?
Checking.
This is Artemis Mission Control. The team aboard Orion continues to set up for today's Ox Suits demo. That's Orion Crew Survival System. Those orange suits that you saw the crew launch in, those are also the ones the crew will return home in. They will be donning those or putting those on today in a rapid manner as if there were a depressurization event in the cabin. You heard Capcom Jenny Gibbons letting Commander Reed Wiseman know that they would be consuming snacks and drinks during this procedure, as well as using the pill tool. When in these Ox suits,
Reed to fill a hydration snack at this cabin pressure, it's 45 seconds. Copy, thumbs up.
again, ahead of today's Ox Suits demo, teams on the ground helping the astronauts prepare for donning those suits. And Capcom Jenny Gibbons mentioned that the crew would be taking pills. These are placebo pills, and they will be delivered through a pill stopper or a pill tool. The pill tool is inserted into a small port in the helmet. These suits are designed so that the crew could live in them for up to 6 days and live in a breathable atmosphere if the cabin were to depressurize. So during that time, if they needed to take medicine, the team has thought of everything, and they have a pill tool available for a small port on the helmet that the team could use to take medicine if needed. This is Artemis Mission Control. We are mission elapsed time 3 days, 20 hours, and 9 minutes into the flight of Artemis 2. We've just passed under 24 hours. To be exact, it's 23 hours and 14 minutes until we surpass the record set by Apollo 13 for the longest distance away from Earth. That distance was 248,655 statute miles. We'll see the crew surpass that tomorrow during their lunar flyby. Inside the cabin, the crew is preparing the spacecraft for the OX suit demo. Orion Crew Survival System Suit. That's what OX stands for. Today they will be donning their suits or getting into those suits. 2 will be doing so rapidly and 2 will be doing so at a normal pace. These suits are what the crew members wear during launch and re-entry. It's also what would protect them in the event of a depressurization in the spacecraft. They'll conduct a lot of activities while in these suits. As you can see, they're starting to pass some drink bags that they may use during that time frame. These Orion Crew Survival System suits could keep the crew member wearing it in a breathable atmosphere for up to 6 days if Orion were to depressurize. Now, this is obviously the first time that humans have ever flown aboard Orion, so the first time we've gotten the opportunity to test out these suits. So after they put on the suits, they will pressurize them, and then they will install their seats. They uninstalled their seats following arrival in their high Earth orbit. And with these suits being pressurized, that seat install would be a little more difficult. There is also a small port on the spacesuit helmet. They will practice eating and drinking through those, as well as taking placebo pills. Down on the left side of your screen, Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jeremy Hansen taking a drink of water and showing the behavior of water in a microgravity environment.
All right, Houston, 4 water stacks are filled with a little bit of comedy here, and we're getting ready to settle in for the DFTO.
Houston copies.
This is a visualization of the Orion spacecraft on the Artemis 2 mission. You can see this for yourself at any time by visiting nasa.gov/track-Artemis. Down in the corner, you can see we are now less than 60,000 miles away from the moon. The crew reached that 2/3 mark last night. In addition to today's Ox suit demo, we are also expecting the outbound trajectory burn 3. The first two outbound trajectory correction burns were deemed not necessary by the team. We are on a good trajectory thanks to the translunar injection burn. We will be executing the OTC-3 burn today. That's slated for 10:03 p.m. Central Time, and it's a 4-second burn with a delta V of 2.7 feet per second. This will use the reaction control system thrusters on the spacecraft.
Houston Integrity crew comment. The D&E locker doors are much easier to get in and out of than we experienced in the mock-up, probably because of zero-G and all that. So just a comment there. In fact, when we first got up here, we were actually saying that we might just keep them on. We have elected so far this mission to not install the nets over D&E because we are in and out of there so much, and we were able to use the CTBs themselves for foot restraints.
Great data. Thank you.
The crew is stepping into their procedures to begin the Ox suit demo, the Orion Crew Survival System demonstration. The beginning of this is just cabin configuration. That means closing the hygiene bay door, removing the bungee where their stowage has been. It also means stowing or unstowing and routing umbilicals as needed.
Jam's data point is the D1, E1, D2, E2 doors are all identically labeled, but, well, I guess they're not, but the D1s have to go, well, D1 and E1 have to go under the seats, and D2 and E2 have to go down at the bottoms, and I think we goofed that up to start.
Oof, yeah. The IVA console's telling us about that little slot that needs to be facing Nader. Sounds like you guys got it. Thanks.
Houston Integrity, another stowage note for boots. Retook a picture, but a great way to stow the boots is behind the foot plate on seats 3 and 4 with the toes facing the seat. When you try to stow them on the clips, they do come off on their own. They just float off eventually. But stowing them behind the seat, toes facing the seat, is a great way to get them stowed efficiently and use space efficiently.
Copy all. Top tip. Thanks, Christina.
Houston Integrity, we would like to request that you all read up the contingency seat settings. We think that would be how we would be doing this if needed.
Copy. We're getting them ready. All right, Integrity, I have your contingency seat settings required. Where do you want to start?
Seat 2 shoulder bolsters first, and then seat 1 shoulder bolsters.
Seat 2 and Seat 1 shoulder bolster pit pins are in slots 17 and 18 for both.
Jenny, we'll take headrest for seats 1 and 2 next. And question, we may have missed it, but what do we do with the orb mount for the left RHC?
You'll be temp stowing the orb mount. If you want a locker location, we can get one ready for you. And the headrest post position for seats 1 and 2 are both 9.
Jenny, I may be missing it, don't have a stow note location for the orb mount, so we will take one from you. Thank you.
F1 large, labeled AGA General Use Brown.
You're looking at a live view inside the Orion spacecraft named Integrity at the Artemis II crew as they are getting into their OX suits demo. OX stands for Orion Crew Survival System. These are the suits they wore during launch. They have orange suits right there. They'll also wear them during re-entry, and these would be the suits they would put on in the event of a depressurization in the spacecraft. Today's test is going to allow the crew members to don or put on their spacesuits. Two will do so at a nominal or normal pace. The other two will do so at a rapid pace. Currently, they're working on installing 3 of the seats. Once they have donned their suits or put on those suits, the crew will then install seat 3. They want to do that while the suits are pressurized to understand how they would do so in the event of a depressurization if the seats were not already installed. Once the suit's pressurized, it does become more difficult for the astronauts to work in the cabin because those suits will grow.
A little feedback on the headrest settings. It wasn't clear how to set setting 9, but we like what we're seeing here, and we think that if we were in a real situation, we would press as is. I'll get a picture of the config.
You'll hear the crew call down feedback on several of the steps they have listed. Earlier, we heard good feedback on how Commander Reed Wiseman had stowed their boots. This is all to help prepare for future missions in writing procedures for astronauts who will fly around or to the moon on future Artemis flights. Again, they will be pressurizing their suits today. Those suits will be pressurized to 4.3 psi.
Copy, Christina. We're happy for you to keep going, and thank you for the photos.
Those suits will be pressurized at 4.3 psi above a 10.2 psi cabin, so they'll be experiencing 14.5 psi in total. Once this crew is in their suits and the suits are pressurized, they will need to get seated. This is a difficult task while pressurized. It may look very simple, but it can be exhausting due to that suit being pressurized and expanded, as well as the umbilicals being connected.
Jenny, we are ready for the position to latch the leg assemblies onto the seat backs for 1 and 2.
For both seats 1 and 2, you're looking for the seat pan position. You will be putting the pit pins in position 3 and 7 for both seats.
As you can see, the crew is now installing the foot restraints for 2 of the seats. These were removed after ascent. This allows the crew more room to move about the cabin throughout the flight, but they must be reinstalled prior to entry. So with today's demo, as the crew will be getting seated while pressurized, they need to install those foot restraints.
And Jenny, we are going to leave the foot pans all the way in for now for suit on.
Copy.
Jenny will take shoulder bolster settings for C4.
Christina, for seat 4, the shoulder bolster pin locations are the same as the nominal, so they should be Sharpie marked for you, setting 20 and 21.
Houston, we will take headrest settings for C4, please.
Seat 4 headrest setting for contingency is 9, which is the same as the setting that you have nominally. And for this, just a reminder, we're looking for on the seat post, there's a little trapezoid. You want the bottom edge of that trapezoid to align with the numbers on the seat back.
And jams for seats 1 and 2, based on that call you just made, thank you for the landmarks, we think our seats are currently set to 11. Seat 1 and 2 seat back posts are at 11, and we launched that way. We're going to leave them that way for now.
Copy, and that is the launch setting. We are happy with that if you are.
Hey, Jenny, we've deployed the post, and apologies, wasn't quite ready to, turns out, absorb all those numbers. So the bottom of the trapezoid aligns with which line?
For you, Christina, it will be a setting of 9, and you can find that just on the seat back itself. It should be right beside the post for the headrest, and it's the same as your nominal launch setting. Copy, thumbs up.
All right, we're good. Thank you. installing the headrest, we're looking for the right Sharpie mark. Do we understand that the lower part of the headrest mounting bracket should align with the Sharpie mark on the post?
Christina, we think that sounds right, but we might be misinterpreting your words, but we think that sounds correct.
Okay. Yeah, I think we feel comfortable with it, and you did say that both of my settings were launch settings, headrest and post, correct?
Affirm, Christina, they're the same for you.
If you're just joining us, this is Artemis Mission Control at Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. Mission elapsed time, 3 days, 20 hours, and 48 minutes. However, we are on flight day 5, and a major event for today is the Ox Suits demo. This is Orion Crew Survival System suit, and if it looks like the crew is preparing the spacecraft for re-entry, they are not, but this is a necessary step ahead of donning or putting on those Ox suits. As this is the first flight of humans on the spacecraft, we're using this entire mission as a test for all systems. That includes using these suits for survival if needed. If the spacecraft were to depressurize, the crew would be able to put on their suits and have a breathable environment for up to 6 days. This is the first test of the crew putting on these suits in the microgravity environment. They will then pressurize them and get into their seats, conducting some tests along the way.
Hey Jenny, can you check the WAP and make sure the WAP is still connected? We just had, we crimped the Ethernet cable when we removed the seat 3 seat pan.
Checking. And Reed, we see a nominal connection to the WAP. Everything looks good. Thanks for letting us know anyway.
Acronym breakdown for you. WAP stands for Wireless Access Point. The crew is continuing to set up for the Aux suit demo. That's Orion Crew Survival System.
Houston, integrity for seat restraints.
Go.
Hey, Jenny. We have elected, if you agree, to not use the crotch belt seat restraint tethers because we see that they are floating and we think that they will be easy to retrieve without the tethers.
Copy. That looks really good to us as well. Thanks.
Inside the Orion spacecraft right now, the crew continues to step through their procedures during the OX suit demo. This is Orion Crew Survival System. NASA astronaut Christina Cook is taking pictures of the configuration of the seats so far. Again, on this test flight, everything is being carefully documented so that it can be used in reference and for planning for future missions aboard Orion. Again, the crew will be putting on their OX suits during this demonstration. Nominally, or on average, they would only wear these during launch and re-entry. But for this mission, we are testing out what they would need to do if there were a depressurization in the cabin. These suits would provide them a breathable environment for up to 6 days, and they also have the ability to take medicine, eat, and drink while in the suits, so all of those things will be tested out today. Now, once they put on these suits and pressurize them, they will expand a little bit, and it'll make it a little more difficult to move about the spacecraft. That's why this test is so critical to help team members write future procedures for future crews.
everyone. Quick note on how the harness straps are sent up. If you can see, when they were sent up, both of these were all the way flush with this, and it made it pretty hard to start the pull out to make them be adjustable. It would be great if they're just separated and maybe flown in a config like that.
Copy and noted. Thank you.
If you're just joining us, this is Artemis Mission Control, now on flight day 5 of the Artemis II mission. The crew and spacecraft are now over 219,900 miles away from our home planet of Earth, 57,850 miles away from the Moon. The crew woke up today at 11:05 a.m. Central Time, and after their post-sleep period, quickly got to work. This is the Ox suit demo, Orion Crew Survival Systems suit. Those orange iconic suits that you saw them wear during launch and that you'll see them put on ahead of splashdown. This demonstration is to test how the crew would get suited and seated if needed in the event of a cabin depressurization. This demonstration is expected to take up most of the crew's day ahead of the midday meal, with that midday meal coming around 6:30 p.m. Central Time. In the remaining half of the day, the crew members will obviously have their midday meal. They will also get into some burn monitoring operations. We are expecting the outbound trajectory correction 3 burn today at 10:03 p.m. Central Time. Outbound trajectory correction burns are small maneuvers using the reaction control system thrusters on the spacecraft. These help refine our trajectory as we are heading around the Moon and coming back to Earth. The initial burn to send us on that flight path was executed on flight day 2. That's the translunar injection burn. We previously canceled OTC burns 1 and 2. The trajectory was sufficient at that time, and those were not necessary, but the team does intend to execute OTC 3 this evening.
We see that in the video. Thanks, Christina.
Hey, just to update you, Jenny, we finished all the seat config stuff. We're grabbing out the snacks now and continuing.
Copy, that sounds good, Christina. And just to let you know, we have a pretty big delay on the video, so for things you're trying to show us, we just might call them a bit late.
Houston, integrity for timeline sync.
Go ahead.
Jams, we are nearing the time of having y'all go off board so that we can get into our suits. Just wanted to check in with you on timing or anything else you've noted that you want to share before we get into that.
Thanks for letting us know, Christina. That syncs with everything that we've been tracking. We just want to update you that we don't believe that we will do any objectives at the lower pressure, so at 3.7 PSID at your suit delta pressure, and we're also looking at adjusting the objectives during the first set as well. So we'll continue to talk about that, and in the meantime, you're go to continue.
This is Artemis Mission Control on Flight Day 5 of the Artemis 2 mission of our 4 astronauts around the moon. A major activity for today is the Ox suit demo. That is Orion Crew Survival Systems suit. The crew wears these suits, that orange iconic color, during launch and re-entry. They would also wear them if needed during a depressurization in the spacecraft. Obviously, we are not tracking that today, but this is a great practice opportunity for this crew to learn how to put on these suits and get into their seats. Everything that we learn on this mission, it helps us.
Integrity Houston, we still have a camera view. We see nothing, but it looks like part of the side of the DU, but wanted to let you know it's still on.
Everything we learn on this mission, including the steps taken today, help us prepare for future crewed missions aboard the Orion spacecraft. Now, while we expect to have more views coming back from the spacecraft, the crew has asked that we go off board for a moment while they don their liquid cooling garment and their comfort garments that they will wear under those suits.
Integrity, that is a better view on the camera. We are a little worried about it becoming unstowed, but right now all we see is the plastic bag and part of the Pelotor. So that's good for now, and a reminder, we'd love timing for your suit up.
On your screen in the black is Capcom Jenny Gibbons, Canadian Space Agency astronaut and backup Artemis 2 crew member. To her right, Capcom Tess Caswell. This view a visualization of the Orion spacecraft, its current orientation and distance to the moon, which is now 57,323 miles, continuing to grow closer by the minute as the spacecraft is traveling 1,554 miles per hour. You can access this at any time by visiting nasa.gov/trackartemis. A recap of who we have flying aboard the Orion spacecraft for the Artemis II mission. We have Commander and NASA astronaut Reed Wiseman, Pilot NASA astronaut Victor Glover, Mission Specialist 1 NASA astronaut Christina Cook, and Mission Specialist 2 and Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jeremy Hansen. Currently, the crew members are getting into their OX suits, those Orion Crew Survival System suits. This is part of the demo during which those suits will be pressurized and also have leak checks. And if you're just joining us, this is all a test. This helps us determine how the crew would need to ingress or enter those suits quickly in case of a depressurization in the spacecraft. They'll also need to enter or put on their suits ahead of returning to Earth, as these are what they wear for launch and re-entry.
Houston Integrity, we are bringing you back on board. Let us know if you don't see it. We haven't dawned, but we think that we're okay with you all watching the full dawn from comfort garments.
Copy, Christina. That sounds great to us. Thank you. We did see you adjust the camera, but we no longer see video.
That's being worked.
Thank you.
And with that, if you agree, we will allow you all to determine suit donning start and complete time for the rapid and nominal.
Copy.
As you heard from NASA astronaut Christina Cook, the crew are now in their comfort garments, and they will continue putting on or donning their OX suits, Orion Crew Survival System suits.
All right, crew, we have video.
As you can see inside the Orion spacecraft, it is significantly more crowded than we've seen over the last few flight days. The crew has reinstalled some of their seats, and they will begin getting into their Orion Crew Survival System suits. 2 of them will practice this at a rapid pace, and 2 will practice at a normal pace. Again, this is all in preparation for future Artemis missions. It's all preventative in case the crews would need to don or put on these suits while in a depressurized environment. It's going to get even more crowded in this image. Once the crew puts on their suits, they will be pressurized. So they grow in volume, and the crew will need to maneuver around the cabin while still connected to umbilicals as well to get into their seats. Currently in the Orion spacecraft, you can see crew members starting to put on their OX suits. That's Orion Crew Survival System. Those are the iconic international orange suits that the crew wears during launch and reentry, and they would put on in the event of a cabin depressurization. So today is a test to understand how the crew needs to put on these suits in a cabin depressurization situation. This test helps us refine procedures for future crews that fly on Artemis missions. These suits are developed by the OX team, again, Orion Crew Survival System. They are monitoring today from the Mission Evaluation Room, also known as the MIR, at the chess console. That's Crew Habitation Equipment Support Systems. This console provides expertise on the crew systems and equipment that the astronauts are using throughout the flight. Once the crew are in their suits today, they will need to conduct suit leak checks as well as enter or ingress their seats. They'll have some additional tasks like drinking and eating while in the suit, as well as taking placebo pills through the pill tool. When these suits are pressurized, we do expect it to become more difficult. Again, once we get the crew into these suits and they are pressurized, they will also be on umbilicals. So these are adding a little more difficulty to moving inside the spacecraft and getting seated.
Integrity Houston, we're following along on video. A reminder, when you are moving about the cabin, we want the strain relief carabiner attached, so your umbilical to your suit, and we would also like Cobra buckles fastened for, at minimum, the 2 free float leak check crew members. Copy, thumbs up.
Houston, integrity comm check, seat 1.
Reed, we have you loud and clear from seat 1. How me?
Loud and clear.